and I am recording. So, yay. So I kind of wanted to just start with like a recap of everything that we've done during the challenge. So the first week we talked about going out to eat because that's something that is inevitable. You know, we can't really avoid it 100% of the time. So ideally, we want to try to make the best choices possible when we do go out to eat. And we started that process by talking about using the plate method. So having half of your plate be non-starchy veggies, 1/4 of your plate being a lean source of protein, and then the other quarter of your plate being some type of low glycemic index, healthy, starchy carbs. And then depending on the fat source of your protein, you want to add in about a thumb size amount of fat to your plate. So the second week, we focused on really making sure that our portion sizes were appropriate whenever we were building that plate. So we used the palm of your hand as the size of your protein source, the thumb for adding your healthy fats, ideally plant-based, and then a cupped hand for your carb source, and then fistfuls of veggies. The third week, we talked about fueling for fitness. So making sure that we are appropriately timing whenever we're taking in protein and carbs before workout, trying to minimize the amount of fat before workout so we don't slow down our digestion, because that's actually going to slow down your gastric emptying and make it difficult for you to process the food while your gut is busy doing other things, or your blood supply is busy doing other things and not feeding your gut. And then this last week, we really focused on hydration, because that's going to be ideal for helping you to do all of the rest of the processes in your body. So you can kind of see, I stole this pyramid from Renaissance periodization. So you can see whenever we're working on having a either a weight loss or muscle gain diet, the way that we structure things as far as the hierarchy goes of making sure that we're under a calorie budget is going to be number one. If you're trying to gain weight, you have to be over a calorie budget. Making sure that you're getting enough of your protein, fat, and carbs appropriately, and then working on timing. And then ideally, what is the composition of your foods? So trying to focus on having more whole foods and taking in the bulk of your both micro and macronutrients through your nutrition that you chew. And then that last 5% is going to be hydration and supplementation. So hydration and supplement should just be a little bit of magic that we sprinkle on the top of the rest of our efforts that we make for nutrition. So I'm going to hand off now and let Lorena kind of lead the charge. She's going to talk to us about supplements in a little bit more depth, and then I'll come back and focus a little bit on, I'll touch more on hydration, and then I'm going to talk about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different supplements. Okay, your turn.
Okay, thank you so much, Heather, for this opportunity. I'm going to share my screen. But before I do, just if you haven't met me, I'm Lorena Cruz. I'm the nutritional health coach at Natural Grocers. And I love my job. I have a passion. And I love Heather's pyramid, because I always say foundation is going to be your food, and then supplementation is your gap filler. So we're going to kind of learn how supplementation is our gap filler. Let me share my screen and get my slideshow going here. Okay, so our 5 foundational supplements that Natural Grocers really focuses on. We're going to get to that in just 1 second, but a disclaimer, this class is not intended to diagnose, treat, or mitigate any diseases. I'm not a doctor. I'm just a nutritional expert. Dietary supplements and foods can interact with prescription medication. If you are taking prescription medication, please become informed on the possible interactions, and you can ask your doctors on that one. That way, if some of your prescription medication will interact with certain foods or supplementations, that way you can be safe as possible. But also, one thing that Natural Grocers' passion is that we focus on nutritional education. We make sure that we want to provide the highest quality standards for our food and also our supplementations. We only have 100% organic food here so that we make it as simple as possible. People don't have to be concerned if conventional apples are put in the wrong spot or anything like that. So we make it easy for you. Also, we want to provide everyday affordable prices. One of the passions that the owners had is that they wanted to be able to have good, nutritious food and supplementations for anybody possible. So I've worked at other stores in the supplement departments and stuff, and Natural Grocers definitely has a great selection at affordable prices. And then we want to support our community. I get the privilege of doing stuff like this. I love educating people. And so that's part of my job, is just getting on doing virtual classes right now. And then we have an amazing team here. I love our team. I don't know if you shop here yet, but come on in and we would love to help support you. I do store tours also. So if you're having a hard time figuring out where things are, just ask for the nutritional health coach and I'll go out there and help you out. So one of the things that we need to know is that nutrients drive our biology. There is a quote out there that talks about that genes play a small percentage and we can choose to turn them on or keep them turned off by what we choose to eat and what we choose to supplement with. So vitamins and minerals are essential for our life. Every biology process. Sorry, the camera, the videos are in the way, so I had to move them over for a second. So that the nutrients that we put in our body affect us biologically and in our genes. Nutrient drive biology is also from essential nutrients. So like your vitamins, your minerals, your essentially fatty acids, omega-3s are amazing, and our essential amino acids. A single nutrient may be involved in as many as 100 different biochemical reactions throughout the body. When our bodies lack nutrients, the body is in a state of dis-ease. So one of the things I like to share with people is to understand the nutrient triage theory. And that is when our body is either deficient in vitamin D or we are running on a full gas tank and it's optimal premium gas. And so if we're running low on our vitamin D, and I just did a study on this or the end of last year, and on vitamin D, it's amazing. It helps only regulate calcium if it's at very bottom levels, but if you are at optimal levels, you actually regulate your calcium, also have healthy cell division. You have an amazing healthy support for the brain and immune health. I know a lot of people last year, due to what was going on, learned a lot about vitamin D and they wanted to make sure that they got their levels to be optimal. One of the things that does support vitamin D is magnesium, helps you absorb it. And we're going to learn more about magnesium, but also taking it with your meals and taking it with some sort of fat, because it is a fat soluble vitamin. So what happens if we are constantly nutrient deficient? The 31% of the US population is at risk of being deficient in vitamin, and also brings anemia. So a lot of us, 31% of us, don't have enough iron, so that puts us into being anemic. So supplement non-users are actually at higher risk. I have found that for myself. Supplementation is a great way to get in where I'm missing the gaps. So one of the things that they found out during their studies was 100% was deficient in potassium or had inadequate micronutrients, vitamin E, vitamin K, magnesium, vitamin A, vitamin C, zinc, and folate. Granted, a lot of people learned about zinc also and the amazing wonders that it does for our immune system. So I know it was really hard last year to keep vitamin zinc on our shelves because a lot of people were learning the importance of it. So a lot of people are like, well, Lorena, why can't I just get all my nutrients just from supplementations? One of the key, or I mean, sorry, from just the foods that we eat. One of the reasons is industrial agriculture. Our soil has been depleted due to monocropping, synthesizing fertilizers, pesticides, and the tilling method. There's a lot of great methods out there. I don't know if you've ever heard about permaculture. I just hosted a class last Saturday in regards to permaculture gardening. It's amazing. So if you guys are curious about that, just ask Heather and send me an email, and I can send you a contact to learn more about it. Also, the plant genetics, food crops are selected for high yield varieties, not necessarily nutrient density. And then global warming, the increase of CO2 levels promotes the increased carbohydrate levels in plants and dilutes the plant's nutrient density. So if you've ever curious about how can we change this, looking into regenerative agriculture helps replenish the soil. They focus on soil health. That soil health will help also bring up the nutrient density of our foods. So what about conventional versus organic? So as you can see here, we really want to have healthy soil so we can have healthy plants. With conventional, as you can see here, it's depleted of a lot of nutrients and a lot of nutrients that we really need. So organically grown food has an average of 5.7% higher content of vitamin and minerals in their compared to their conventionally grown counterparts. That's why it's so important to focus on getting organic as much as possible so you can get as much nutrients into your bodies. So then also we have to look at the food processing. So 51% of majority of Americans' calories come from ultra pasteurized food, which with this has a lot of significantly lower in vitamins A, C, D, and E, and then zinc, potassium, phosphorus, magnesium, and calcium. This helps with your minerals. It really helps with the hydration and staying your levels being electrolytes staying up there. So as you can see here, how it drops down drastically when we start processing it. Another key factor is our modern day lifestyle. A lot of us were stressed out. Last year was a little bit on the extra stressful. I know for myself and my team, I really try to encourage them to make sure that they're stress managing. You can eat 100% organic, you could exercise, you can stay hydrated, but if that stress is so high, it actually counteracts all the positive things you're trying to do. Granted, exercising does help with the stress management, but make sure you get out there, feed your soul, take some time for yourself, and just enjoy life, being present in the moment. Some of the things that can increase our stress is alcohol, smoking, poor diet, environmental toxins, medication, health conditions, screen time, lack of outdoors, excess sitting, and physical activity. Another benefit of getting outdoors is getting barefoot as it's warming up. I'm reading a book right now, it's called Earthing. And so it talks about the importance of us grounding, how it does help also reduce stress. You guys should check it out. It's a really neat book to learn more about it. So how do we put this together? How do we actually get nutrient dense food in first to build that foundation to be strong? And that is this is our meal wheel here at Natural Grocers. And they always suggest make sure half your plate is full of vegetables. So I tell people start out and be adventurous. Try new things that you haven't tried before. Some of my favorite ways to actually make them is to saute them up in some avocado oil, add a little bit of salt, pepper, some garlic powder, onions for about 10 minutes so they stay a little bit crunchy, yet they're sort of just sauteed up and they taste so good. You guys should try it out. Try something new, 2 new vegetables this week. Also get quality protein in. And what I mean by quality, Natural grocer standards versus USDA. USDA, when they put that stamp label, it says grass fed. All they require is that animal has to be fed non-GMO feed, which that's great, but it could still be given antibiotics, still given growth hormones, and still be raised on a feedlot. So it will not have the L-carnitine that you really want to get from it, zinc, your omega-3 fatty acids comparison to omega-6 fatty acids ratio will be really high. It'll be 23 compared to 1, and the omega-6 compared to the omega-3s. You want to balance out that ratio, because if you have too much omega-6, that causes an increase in inflammation in our bodies. And that can be eating a lot of processed foods, eating a lot of conventional foods. So that's when you go to grass-fed. Natural Grocers is 100% grass-fed beef, domestically raised here in the U.S. Then your next category is your healthy fats, your avocados, your coconut oil, your olive oil, that type, grass-fed butter, ghee, anything like that is really good for you. So those are my 3 primary quadrants I like to have people in. And then if you're going to work out really hard, putting in some good carbohydrates that are complex. So I usually stick to the fruit column also on those carbohydrates. Next, let's look at what are the 5 foundational vitamins, supplementations. So multivitamins, like as we just looked at agriculture and the way that they grow our food, it's depleted. It's not like it was even 50 years ago. And so adding in that multivitamin starts filling in the gaps where we're missing out. Magnesium, there's so many things amazing about magnesium, and so that's one reason why they put it in there. Also, a large portion of our population is depleted in magnesium, not realizing it, and so that's a key nutrient that we need to get in. Lutein is also another important one. EPA and DHA, omega-3s, and then also your super nutrients. So let's break this down. What does our multivitamins consist of? Here's usually a good general factor. If for men and women in prenatal health and seniors, children, and infants, our needs are all different because we're all in different stages in our life. And so finding the specific ones for your gender or for your children or for maybe senior parents or grandparents that may live with you or anything like that are really important. And then what does multivitamins provide for us? They provide extra energy. They help support the mood, the cognitive. We want to support that brain. So we can have really smart brains all the way through life. Cardiovascular health and healthy blood sugar levels. Next, multivitamins. As you can see here in the comparison of the different nutrients down here, non-users are the blue, reddish, pinkish, however it's showing up on your screen, is the users used 1 to 15 days, and then the green is users for 16 days or more a month. So as you can see how taking a multivitamin benefited people who were taking a multi. So compared with nutrients intake from food alone, regular multivitamin use significantly increase the intakes, 15 to 18 nutrients at a time. What are the impacts here in a 2019 study over an 8-week period? Verbal and vision and memory increased, process sped up, motor planning, learning, and working memory. So like I said, we always want to take care of our brain so that way it can help take care of us into the future. Our next one we're going to talk about is our EPA and DHA. And the reason why this one's important to get for age appropriate. So for children, they need more DHA, but as we age, we actually need more EPA. This is 2 omega-3 fats that are necessary for healthy cells. So we are made up of trillions and trillions of cells, and they're 50% fat. So that's why our body needs a good source of healthy omega-3 fatty acids. As you can see down here, what does that provide for us? Provides with healthy weight maintenance, cardiovascular health, learning and memory, our mood, healthy joints, healthy microbiome, immune health, and hair and skin and nails. So our microbiome and our immune system are go hand in hand. So we want to make sure we're taking good care of that. Also, one other thing here, it shows that if you want to do it through the food source, that's a great way to do it, because that is our foundation. You would need to eat about 8 ounces of seafood per week, which is equivalent to 250 milligrams per day of EPA and DHA. Or you can also supplement with 1,000 milligrams of an ultimate omegas or cod liver oil, or whichever form you want to take. We do have it in liquid and pill form. Either one works great. So here, though, if you look at a 2014 study, it revealed that significant number of American adults are not meeting recommendations for omega-3 fatty acids. My favorite type of fish to eat is wild-caught salmon. I have a lot of good recipes I'd be happy to share with you if you want to try to start eating a little bit more fish. We're going to jump on over now to math. Oh, whoops, sorry, I missed one slide here. I was talking about the omega-6 versus omega-3 ratios due to our standard American diet and a lot of processed foods that put in soy, corn, canola, safflower, sunflower contribute to that omega-6. The reason why a lot of people that are dealing with those occasional aches and pains or chronic aches and pains is their omegas can be off. And so getting too much omega-6s and not enough omega-3s. So shoot to get in some cold water fish. Wild caught is great, but here's some other choices too. But if you are vegan or vegetarian, you can also get an algae-based alternative. Seaweed is a great one in the food. Now we're going to jump to magnesium. Magnesium actually is a cofactor to help support 600 different enzymes in our body, including healthy cell division, gene expression, and energy production. Magnesium also helps us absorb our vitamin D's that we are taking. So they all go hand in hand together. Over 50% of Americans do not meet the actual recommended intake for magnesium. So that would be eating lots and lots of greens. I tell people starting out with a green smoothie in the morning is a great way to start your day, to get extra energy and to get a natural form of magnesium. Magnesium is required to activate 3 major enzymes responsible for vitamin D, also the function in their cells. As you can see here, 2013 a study was done to look at and see how magnesium intake is related to vitamin D levels. The study found that magnesium intake, diet, and supplementations was independently and significantly associated with the reduction of vitamin D deficiency and insufficiencies. So as we can see, magnesium is amazing in helping us absorb our vitamin D. But look at all these other benefits that it has. It's also called the relaxation mineral. I know since I've been taking my magnesium right before bed, it really helps calm my mind because my mind goes 100 miles a minute, kind of like my mouth does sometimes. So I need something to calm it down. And this magnesium has been a blessing to me to get falling asleep. But also look, it helps with cardiovascular health, healthy sleep, bone health, healthy mood, healthy blood sugar balancing, muscle cramps, and healthy inflammation response. When I'm coaching people who get a lot of muscle cramps, one of the first key minerals I suggest is electrolytes, but also making sure they're getting the magnesium in. Next, let's look what supports our brain and our eyes. A lot of us are on screens throughout the day, especially since the whole pandemic started. A lot of people have started working from home. And so they're on the screen a lot more. So I always suggest making sure you're eating lutein-rich food to help with the blue lights and supporting your eyes to stay healthy. Also, you can eat good orange and yellow fruits and vegetables, egg yolks, dark leafy greens, such as chard and spinach. And then lutein in the body. The highest concentration of lutein are found in the eyes, the brain, and your skin. So you want to feel better, look better, and see better. Most of the research has shown that lutein specifically supports these 3 areas in the body. So eat those yellow and orange veggies and fruits, and also the egg yolks and greens, but also get a supplementation in. So let's look more in depth how it supports our brain and our eyes. Lutein in the eyes. So so it can be measured in the eyes. Research shows lutein acts to filter blue light in the eye and helps maintain the health of our eyes as we age. How does it support our brain? Research shows lutein helps you work smarter, not harder, and supports learning, memory, and cognition. So as we age, we want to take care of that brain. So now we've talked about omega-3s, multivitamins, magnesium. Let's talk about super nutrients. Oh, sorry, I missed the skin, but we'll jump to super nutrients. Super nutrients help with customizing your goals. So if you want to specifically help with your heart, help with inflammation, garlic's amazing, beets with cardiovascular and the vessels. You need to get an extra greens, L-carnitine, berberine, milk thistle, helps support flushing out the liver. PS helps with your brain, probiotics help with the gut health, and cranberry is grape juice, or also in supplementation for your urinary tract and other areas. So I want to ask you guys, what is your health goals? Write them down. And you're welcome to reach out to me, but Heather is an amazing resource for you guys. That's your the nutritional health coach there. But if you have more specific questions on supplementation, I'm happy to help support that. Just remember on your health goals and supplementations, there is no one size fit all. So don't compare yourself with other people. Just focus on your health and focus on being the best you as possible. If you have questions on specific super nutrients, you're welcome. Like I said, come in the store and see me. I'm happy to help you. I do have a $5 gift card for you to utilize when you do come in. You just have to ask for me. And we have plenty of other resources. We have customer literature files that can help support those specific needs that you're looking to focus on. So, summary, one of the things that we are talking about is being rooted in health here at Natural Grocers, and these are some of the best ways to do that. Your health and your diets, making sure it's nutrient dense. Your food is your foundation. Your supplementation is your gap fillers. So, do you guys have any questions about any supplementations or anything else?
That was great, Lorena. Thanks.
Oh,
Is it lutein? Is that how you pronounce it? Is it lutein
Yes.
or lutein?
Lutein. Well, tomato. I'm from the north, so I say lutein. From the south, you say lutein.
There are probably people like, I don't know, but I mean, I may be that guy like, oh, John definitely needs lutein. What are the naturally occurring foods that comes in again?
It comes in the orange and the yellows, and then also your dark greens.
Okay. Okay, cool. So dark greens, oranges, and yellows. Okay, got it.
Yep.
Okay. So would bell peppers count?
Yes. Yellow and oranges, which are a sweeter one, but they taste great.
Oh, I eat a bell pepper every day. I eat bell pepper every day, so that's good.
Another great resource is breast milk, but you know.
True.
We're way past.
Okay. That's just my everyday life. We talk about the DHA and the lutein and, all the things that come in breast milk.
Yep. There's so many nutrients. I wish more mamas knew about the nutrients in breast milk. Yeah.
I think one of the coolest things that we've done in the last 2 years for the babies is changing the little bitty babies to an all exclusive human milk diet. So we no longer use like cow's milk based fortifiers to add calories.
I love that.
Yeah. Anyways, I guess we can talk about supplementation now. Lorena, if you want to stay on, you can, or, thank you for your time.
Oh, I would love to stay on, but we are actually a little short-handed, so I was like, I will make it quick and be back on the floor.
Well, perfect. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you guys. If you need anything, reach out. I'm happy to help.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Bye, y'all.
Okay. So I'm going to share with you guys my screen and talk a little bit about supplementation and hydration. And then we'll be done. So as I mentioned at the beginning, supplementation, hydration, this is going to be that top of the pyramid, the last 5% of what can make a difference in your life. Hydration is very important, and people may wonder, why is it only included in that 5%? Well, ideally, if people are drinking to thirst, they should be automatically reaching their requirements for hydration intuitively. So if you're drinking to thirst, then your hydration should be adequate to keep you healthy and get you close to the best fitness hydration that you need. Some of us, I think one of the reasons why I included it in the challenge was just to make sure that people are more aware of their hydration, because sometimes I think we forget about it. So the degree of muscle gain or fat loss that you're going to attain on a diet is going to be, doesn't always necessarily have anything to do with what your hydration is, outside of extreme circumstances. So your performance can be affected by being inappropriately hydrated, but that's going to be if it is something that is consistent dehydration or hyperhydration. And then as far as supplements go, their supplements share that 5% improvement margin with hydration, because they similarly have a very small effect on your fitness outcomes. So many available supplements that are out there, regardless of what their claims are, they have little to no effect at all. And if they are effective, then they've been shown to have an extremely small impact on your performance and your body composition. So using verified supplement options appropriately can give you an edge that may absolutely add up to a significant difference in the long term. So when you think about having less than a 1% improvement every time that you are overly focused on making sure that you are reaching your goals and sticking to those the daily requirements that you have, when you add that up over a decade, that can make a big difference. So the effect is going to be small. However, supplements should be considered, but that's going to be after you have thoroughly implemented everything else that we've talked about so far as the healthy diet principles go. So, and even if you are one of those people that's already 100% on the rest of the stuff, the other 95% that we've been talking about, you want to only add supplementation if it's not going to be something that's going to stress you out or decrease your adherence to everything else. Let me see. How do I make it go? Hang on. Sorry. Hang on. I'm having technical difficulties.
Well, I was going to say, it's so funny because, I've been, we've owned CrossFit Film for almost 10 years now, and being in and out of the fitness industry for 15 years and just watching it kind of the neeps and ebbs over the past almost 2 decades. You think really a lot of people want to put, what are your supplements? What are you supplementing with? And there's a lot of talk, like water cooler talk at the gym about, what people do to supplement, or, what supplements are you taking or whatever. And I think it's so important that only 5% of our overall athletic performance is determined by supplementation. And I think that's really, I wish more people could hear that. And I'm glad we're talking about it. And I'm glad we're recording this conversation. So
for sure.
Anyway.
So as far as the amount of water that you're drinking goes, I'll give you guys a couple of definitions. So dehydration is going to be a state of having too little water, and hyperhydration means that there's too much fluid in all of your body compartments. So that would be like a fluid overload. And under normal conditions, it's going to take fairly extreme mistakes in hydration to negatively impact your performance, and even more to have a big impact on your body composition. So most people stay fairly euhydrated, meaning that they're staying in their normal state of hydration just by drinking to thirst. But if you want to get super detailed about what is going to be optimal for hydration, it is recommended that you consume 1.5 mils of water for every calorie that is eaten per day. So more specifically, if you're looking at a person that has a 2,000 calorie per day diet, that means they need to have 3,000 mils of water. So here you can see this is a 1 liter bottle. So if I had 3 of these per day for my 2,000 calorie diet, then that's going to be considered sufficient hydration. Here in the US, we tend to stick to more ounces. So if you look at like every 100 calories that you're drinking, 100 calories that you're eating per day, then that's going to be about 5 ounces of water. So that is going to be when you're just normal everyday training. If you're in the middle of like extreme environments, as far as like, you know, this dead heat of the summer, working out in the sun, of course, you're going to want to increase your hydration there. So ways that you can decide, am I hydrated, am I dehydrated, is by looking at the color of your urine. So whenever you are in a euhydrated state, meaning that your body is optimally hydrated, then your urine should be a light yellow looking like lemonade. Under certain circumstances, different like medications can sometimes change the color of your urine. But the best way to use your urine color to assess your hydration is considering the average color over several hours or days. If you consistently see dark urine, then you probably need to increase your hydration. If your urine is consistently clear, then you may be overly hydrating. So another way that you can track your hydration status is by tracking your body weight, because body weight is going to change with how much you are hydrated. So if you are consistently staying in a, like if you're a person that is not looking to gain or lose weight, then using your body weight is going to be more accurate as far as telling you how well you're hydrated. Sometimes there can also be weight changes due to hormonal changes, especially for ladies. So I do remember seeing, I tried to find the post so I could share it with you guys, but I remember seeing one of the ladies that's like a big CrossFit athlete. I want to say that it was either Annie Thorsdottir or Sarah Sigmundsdottir that posted something on her Instagram one time talking about like, how does she make sure that she stays hydrated? And she actually weighs herself, works out, weighs herself again, and then drinks that many mils of water to know that she's staying in that euhydrated state. And that's a little bit extreme. I mean, if you are an elite athlete and you are looking to get that extra edge on the people that are working out around you, that's something to consider, but that is a little bit excessive for the rest of us. So this is not a very exciting slide, but these are different ways that you can see signs and symptoms of being hydrated. Mild hydration is going to be being thirst. So like at the point that you actually feel thirsty, you are probably a little tiny bit dehydrated. So drinking water should bring you back up to being in that euhydrated state. Mild fatigue, difficulty focusing, small reduction in your strength and athletic performance. And then as we move closer to that extreme dehydration, you're going to have cramping, your respiratory rate goes up, your heart is going to be working harder to pump blood because there's a lower volume of blood in your body, chills, rapid pulse, and then heat exhaustion. So that's the extremes, of course. And again, I made this PowerPoint this morning because it's been such a crazy week, and there's not a PowerPoint provided to me from HSN on supplements and hydration. So my slides are super boring, but talking about supplements. So most supplements that are on the market are going to have a very minimal measurable effect on your performance for either body composition or actual performance in the gym. So when you walk into a supplement store, most of the supplements that you see on the shelf contain extracts and compounds that are probably going to be a waste of money. But the good news is that there are a few supplements that have many years of research behind them. They've been shown to have a positive effect on performance and body composition. So I'm going to talk to you guys about 5 different ones today. And I'm just going to close my, let's see. I don't know why my slides look all weird. So first I'm talking about whey protein. So whey protein, when you break down milk into the 2 different protein fractions that are available, you've got whey and casein. So John and I talked about this when we did the grocery store tour. We were talking about cottage cheese, and he was like, I can't do cottage cheese because of the texture. But cottage cheese is a great representation of the 2 different milk proteins that are available. You've got the chunks that are in there, and it's a slow digesting protein called casein. And then you've got the liquid that sits on top that you have to stir back in. That happens with your natural yogurts as well, is that the liquid separates out, and that is your whey protein. So whey protein is one of the naturally occurring protein fractions of milk, and it digests and absorbs faster than any other known protein. And it's also one of the highest quality proteins that's ever been studied. In fact, they have an older scale of like the protein quality that used to use egg protein as the reference value of being 100% for the highest quality protein. And then when isolated whey protein came along, it scored over 100%. So they had to remake the scale, and it is the most ideal protein supplement for consumption when the GI tract can't work very hard. So when you think about whenever you're in that fight or flight mode, you are in the middle of the workout, you are hoping that all of your blood is concentrated on the most important organs in your body. That's going to be your heart, brain, and your lungs. Your blood is not going to be pumping like the best process to your gut. So when your GI tract does not have a good blood supply, it's not going to be able to process very properly. And so amino acids are still greatly needed in that that type of environment. And so that's what you're going to see during training. So whenever you have whey protein, so this is a list here of protein digestibility corrected amino acid score. That's a big fancy term that just basically means like how bioavailable is protein. So you've got 2 different kinds of protein, well, 3 different kinds of protein here that are going to be 100% bioavailable. You've got egg protein, and then you've got milk protein from both casein and whey. Soy protein is very well digested, as well as mycoprotein from fungus-based vegan proteins. Those are both 99%, and then it kind of trickles down from there. So beef, chickpeas, black beans, peanuts, rice, whole wheat, and then wheat gluten. So I know there's a couple of commercial like pancake batters. I think it's this is one of Whit's favorites. I forgot what it's called. Anyways, it's a pancake batter that is made from a little bit of whey protein, but they also use wheat protein. And so when you look at it, and it's down at the bottom of the list, only 42% is protein digestibility corrected amino acid score. So there's three main categories of whey protein that are available and sold commercially. You've got whey protein that is whey concentrate that is going to be the least pure, whey isolate, which is intermediately pure, and then whey hydrolysate, which is going to be the most pure form of whey protein available. So whey concentrate is going to be the cheapest by far, still very effective. So unless you have sensitivities as far as your GI tract goes, or you've got lots of cash to burn, then that's going to be your top choice. Isolate rarely causes GI upset or distress, but it's also incredibly high quality and purity, but it's going to be a lot more cost as far as whey protein goes. And if you're very sensitive to dairy, then you should consider whey hydrolysate. However, the price of the supplement is also going to be sometimes prohibitive as far as like not making it an ideal choice for you. So for workout shakes, you want to make sure that if you're having whey protein, that you're combining it with fast digesting carbs. You want to start sipping the shake before you train, drink 2/3 of it during your training, and then finish the remainder of it right after your workout. It's going to give you enough nutrients for all of the beneficial intra-workout functions without risking GI distress. So whey is not a great option for any other meal replacement on its own. Ideally, you want to be taking in the rest of your protein sources from food that you can chew. Casein protein. So the other fraction of milk protein is going to be casein. It's incredibly slow digesting, capable of releasing a steady stream of amino acids into your bloodstream for up to 7 hours after consumption. For this reason, it's a poor post-workout choice, but it's a great meal replacement if you're going to have long durations of food without, long durations of time without food, and it's going to be the most commonly occurring example of like a pre-bedtime meal. So casein protein is the other main protein that makes up milk. And it's kind of just exactly the opposite of whey protein as far as it goes. It's very high quality, but just super slow digesting. What I like to do with this is I make a waffle at bedtime. Let's see, I made a video of it the other day, if I can find it. But I make a waffle where I take peanut butter. Here we go. I'll share this with you guys. Let me find it real quick. I take my peanut butter and almond milk. And here we go. There you go. Okay, so I take, oh, that was way too fast. Hang on. So I've got 3 ingredients. So I've got almond milk, natural peanut butter, and this is a great peanut butter that has only peanuts and a little bit of salt added to it. So there's no added sugars. And then I really like Ascent protein, and I usually use the chocolate or the chocolate peanut butter flavor. But I just take and I weigh out my ingredients. So I use about 2, this is to make 2 waffles. So I've got peanut butter, I've got my protein powder, and then I've got my almond milk. And I just mash it all up with a fork. And then once I get it all mashed up, then I make it into a ball. I typically make 2 at a time. So there's my ball. And then I take it and divide it out, put it in the waffle maker, and then I make a second set. So I usually make 4 of these at a time. And then I just stick them in the fridge. So there's my waffle. And then I like some whipped cream, and I've got some sorbet and some decaf coffee, and that is my bedtime snack. Okay, I'll go back to my slideshow. Okay. So next I'm going to talk about creatine. And all of this information that I got about creatine is from the RP Renaissance diet book. So creatine is naturally occurring in the body. In your muscle tissue, it acts as a buffer for ATP. ATP is a molecule that's going to store energy that's derived from your food and fuels. It fuels nearly every cellular reaction within your body, including your muscle contractions. So as powerful as ATP is, you only have enough that fuels around 1 to 3 seconds worth of maximal muscle contraction at any time. So your maximal exertion beyond 1 to 3 seconds, which is required for most of the training that we do, requires ATP levels to be restored. So creatine phosphate system is the most immediate mechanism for that restoration in our body. Creatine increases the ability of the phosphagen system to provide high intensity energy for your exercise. So the more creatine you have in your cells, the longer near maximal efforts can be made during your training. So if, in other words, if you can curl 50 pounds for 10 reps, then having more creatine in your body means that you can manage 12 reps. So creatine's been consistently shown to improve performance as well as muscle retention and growth. Although the benefits of creatine are well supported, the mechanism for its action is actually still under research. So the muscle growth and retention benefits of creatine might be related to what they call cell swelling, which has been independently shown to result in hypertrophy where your muscles grow, or workout performance increases like training at slightly higher volumes and intensities. So regardless of what the mechanism is, creatine consistently supports significant improvement in performance and physique outcomes. So in other words, it gives you several seconds worth of high rate ATP, which you can use to smash through your next set of reps during your workout. So it also has been shown to build muscle over the long term. So the downside to creatine is that you can expect to have 1 to 3% of body weight increase, and that's due to water retention. And typically that water retention is going to fall off after about 2 months. So it does take some time for that water weight to fall back off. I'm going to talk about glycemic carb powders. So the goal of glycemic carb powders is going to be increasing your glycemic availability with little digestion time for it to appear in your blood and be used for energy. So different samples of this is going to be like Gatorade, Powerade, Tang, different powders like that can be used for post-workout glycogen replacement, especially when you're training like twice a day. So the super expensive kind is probably not going to be any better than just the plain old stuff that you buy at the grocery store, the Gatorade powder. Liquid sources like dextrose, Gatorade, Powerade are processed, and they're therefore faster and easier to digest, but there's also some very slow digesting carb powders that are out there on the market. Carb powders are usually very low in other nutrients, so it should not make up a large portion of your carb allotment for the day, especially if you're trying to lose fat. And whenever you're trying to lose fat, typically your other micronutrients may be more difficult to reach. So fast digesting options are going to be excellent for intra-workout intake, but I personally like to have like fruit juice or coconut water are going to be good options instead of like just straight sugar. Last, I'm going to talk about, well, I've got 2 more things to talk about. I'm going to talk about some stimulants. So everybody's favorite stimulant is going to be caffeine. Yay. This is something that I'm sure people have heard me say, like we even give caffeine to the babies at the hospital because caffeine is it's going to be a stimulant. Like things that you can expect to happen is increased alertness and focus, increased pain tolerance, increased repetition performance and endurance, increased motivation. And then one of the other side effects of caffeine is that it decreases hunger. So sometimes that can make hypocaloric dieting easier. It's going to increase your energy in your workouts, and it helps sometimes with the focus and attention span, which is going to be difficult sometimes whenever you're in a hypocaloric state, like whenever you're low on your calories. So it's important to use stimulants responsibly, and ideally, caffeine comes from a family of other stimulants that carry basically the same physiologic effects. Now there's going to be other supplements and products on the market that are supposed to be stimulants, like in pre-workouts and stuff. But the overall content is what you want to look at in those supplements to make sure that they're going to be safe. And make sure that they are not controlled substances. So caffeine is available, time tested, and FDA approved for your use. And in general, it's going to allow you to train slightly harder than in any other given session. But you want to make sure that you are focusing on other forms of energy as well. The last thing that I'm going to talk about is going to be collagen, because this has been something that's come up consistently in conversations. So collagen has a reputation for being good to support things like gut health, but there's no evidence that the product heals your gut permeability. Glutamine is going to be a prime nutrient for your intestinal cells, but a deficiency in your diet in glutamine is going to be highly unlikely. So the amino acids that are found in collagen are actually readily available in other protein sources with better digestibility, and they are non-essential amino acids, meaning glutamine, glycine, and proline are found in collagen supplements are actually made within your own body. So due to the low bioavailability of collagen and its lack of essential amino acids, it's actually not suitable as a replacement for whole food or post-workout protein shakes, because it does not have, it's not going to provide the proteins that you are unable to make within your own body. All right, well, that's all that I have as far as supplements go. John, what questions do you have? Whit, do you have any questions?
Not really.
I need to digest a lot of that. Go ahead, Whit.
Go ahead, John.
No, I was just saying, I think the timing is, I don't know. I need to look into that glycogen powder a little bit more. I think I found some stuff that works pretty good, and I don't know. I need to play around with that a little bit. I think I've been trying to work on the timing of the eating. So a lot of my workouts will go, I'll eat like an hour or 2 hours before to try and get my glycogen stores up. That's still, I don't even know. I mean, and then the stimulant piece kind of scares me. I've tried stimulant pre-workouts in the way we train at CrossFit Throne, and it tends to either go too high or it's not enough, or I don't know. It always seems to misfire no matter what I've tried. So I've stayed away from those over the past 5 years or so. But I don't know. I think whey and casein have really come in very handy, or even pea proteins over the past 2 or 3 years. And I know that, yeah, that's about where I'm at. Casein's been very helpful at night.
That's good. The only other, did you have a question, Whit?
No. Go ahead.
So the only other thing I was going to show y'all real quick is there's a couple of websites that I've come across. So the first one is called LabDoor. And on LabDoor's website, they have supplement ranking where they've actually tested and ranked supplements. So we can go in here and we can look at creatine. And they take them and they actually like test the supplement to see what is in it. Is it really what's said on the label? You know, so
That's great.
I'll just we'll look at this one. My protein brand creatine monohydrate, which is the most commonly available form. How accurate is the label? 100%. That's great. How pure is it? 98%. Okay. What's the value? 95%. And then is it safe? And how effective is it going to be? And then it even breaks it down by like the price per serving and how big is the serving and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty cool. And then the other website is one that was recommended by RP, examine.com. So in here, you can go in and you can say, like, you can look up, like, what's your goal? Or let's look at whey protein. What are the benefits? What's the drawbacks? You know, what is going to be the level of evidence of all the claims that they have for whey protein. So it's a pretty cool website. Examine.com and then LabDoor. So
That's cool.
Those are awesome websites.
y'all have
Have you heard about like getting your micronutrients like tested to figure out what it is that you're lacking? Like, have you heard of people doing that?
I have not heard of people doing that, but I know that in the hospital, like for the babies, we do, we will check their electrolytes.
Yeah.
Like the little bitty babies, we will check their electrolytes every 6 hours. And then like the kids that we are making their own, well, the way I describe it to parents is like we make them IV Gatorade, basically. But it's like all of the nutrients that they need. It's called IV nutrition, TPN. And when we draw their electrolytes and then we make their TPN specialized to whatever they need so that we fill in the gaps of what's missing in their diet or missing in their body, I mean. But it's so like measuring what is my sodium today and then and then going out and taking in more sodium because it was low is not necessarily going to be the most beneficial thing. Now, if you were to like measure your sodium today and then in a week and then a week from then, you know, like doing a serial testing to see, am I consistently low in calcium? You know, that's going to be where the magic's at, is finding out what micronutrients are missing from your diet consistently.
Right.
But ideally, I mean, if you are following the plate method and making sure that the food that you're taking in is quality ingredients, then you shouldn't have that much of a deficiency in anything. But we talked about that, you know. I've got a resource through HSN that I can provide to you guys that talks about like I think that I need more calcium in my diet or whatever it is, and I can increase that by taking in more of this type of food.
Okay.
So, John, questions?
I'm good, thanks. I really want to go check out those websites now.
Awesome. All right. Well, I will get this recording rendered and uploaded to the group.
It's good stuff, Heather. Very awesome.
We've got our follow-up meetings. Most people are